Hello everybody, my name is Daniel Ahmed and I'm a cloud security architect. Today we're going to finish the second lab of EntraGoat. This is a series that we're doing. We're doing all the vulnerable machines for Entra and Azure. And in the end, we will also be making our own and I will be posting them on GitHub. Just like EntraGoat, it will make the setup here itself and then it will also clean up. We will also have the solutions inside of this software. So today we're going to do this Craft Me the Crown and Roles challenge. And the credentials dump you bought on breach forums turned out to be gold. Jennifer Clark's password from a recent breach still works. She's a dev who pushes to prod from half-baked CI/CD scripts. While inspecting her DevOps logs, you found an exposed PFX in the logs. Use what you've got, escalate what you need, and work the graph API chain to reach global admin privileges. All right, so it's a beginner challenge. Shouldn't be that difficult. I have already run the setup. It asked me for a setup and I have these credentials with me. These are the credentials it gave me. It gave me the account for Jennifer Clark, the low privilege user. It's her password. It also gave me where the flag is, the location of the flag in the EntraGoat admin user attributes. And I also have this certificate. So while the sysadmin was configuring CI/CD pipelines, this certificate somehow got locked to std out. So it just means that this certificate was pushed out. It can be seen by anyone who starts the CID/CD. They thought no one would notice, so we got this certificate, the PFX password for the certificate, and we also know that it's in a base 64 encoded. The title is itself saying that it's base 64 encoded, and the scenario is sign in as the admin user and retrieve the flag. Okay. All right, so let's just start with the certificate. We should know one thing, that if we have a certificate, it might mean that we have access to a application in the tenant, because enterprise applications usually use certificate and secrets, and we can use this certificate if we can find out the thumbprint of the certificate. Every certificate has a unique identifier known as a thumbprint, and this is how it is verified that this is the certificate used for the application. So we will find out the thumbprint for this. We obviously have the password, so we can decode it, right? So we'll find out the thumbprint. We'll see what application has that thumbprint that is used by the certificate, and we can log into that application and further enumerate what we can do. So I've already logged in as the, I believe this is not the account. So let's just log in first with the data that we have. All right, so this is the password. All right. Okay, we are in this account. We can see that we have application read-write all, app role assignment read-write all. So these are the scopes that we have. First things first, we're not going to rush everything. We know that we have a certificate and a password for that PFX certificate. We can figure out what the actual thumbprint is. We'll simply convert it into bytes first, because this is in a base 64 format. So let's just make a simple variable and add it. Take base 64 version of the certificate, copy this. Make sure there are no spaces in the end. So this is a space, right? You don't want that space. All right, perfect. Okay, now we're going to convert that certificate into bytes. And now what we're doing is we are actually using this password for this certificate and converting this into a readable format. We'll find out everything in this certificate and we'll save it into a cert variable. It's done. And if I print the cert now, so it gave us a thumbprint and it also gave us the name of the CN. And most of the times when we are creating certificates, the application that is connected to the certificate, the name of that application is in the subject of the certificate. So this is the application we will be most probably looking for. If not, we can also find out by the thumbprint which is the application that is using this certificate. Now we're going to find out the applications, all the applications that we have. So we can first save this thumbprint here somewhere. Let's just find out the applications first. We will find out the app ID, and we're going to expand the property of key credentials, because every application has a key credentials that we can use to log into the application. One second, key credential. All right. So there are 4 applications that we can see: Entra Connect Sync Provisioning, this one, EntraGoat S2 Certificate, and Entra Connect Sync Provision. Because of the EntraGoat scenario, we know that this is the certificate, but if we didn't know the certificate, what's the actual application that's containing the certificate, we can simply print out this custom key identifier. Remember, in a few minutes back, I told you that these custom key identifiers are actually the thumbprints, but you can see that this thumbprint is completely different than what you can see here. So these are all numbers, but basically what a custom key identifier is the decimal version of the hex. So that this is the hex version of all this. So this is decimal, and this is the hexadecimal conversion. That's called the thumbprint of the certificate. Now, to print out all the numbers, we already know this is the certificate, so we can do this on this one, but we can do this one by one for everyone as well. So we will just do this for the Entra first. So we will be targeting this one, this key ID, because we are going to enumerate this one first. So we're going to find out the key credentials. This is the same command that we wrote previously, and we're just iterating on top of it. We're finding the key ID, where this is the actual key ID of the set application. All right, so we isolated it perfectly, and now we can save it inside of a variable. The same application, the same command that we did here, we can save it into an application, into a variable. And now we're going to convert this key identifier into hexadecimal. So this is the answer. So we got all the keys inside of this, and we can simply do this, and we can find out the cert info as well. So if we do cert info, let me try that. All right. So if we only print out the customer key identifier, this is the key identifiers. We can copy this as well, and we paste it here. And this is the whole thumbprint that we saw. If we match this, it's completely the same thing. D20C61, D20C61, and in the end it is DC5B. So this is the same hexadecimal thumbprint that we figure out from the certificate. So this simply means that we have the certificates that is connected to this application. So this is the name of the certificate. Now what we're going to do is we must save the application ID first. So where is the application ID? Let me just get the application ID first. So this is the app ID for the application. What is this application? All right, this is Corporate Finance Analytics. This is the application for which we have the certificate for. And we figured out that on top here, when we were decoding the certificate, we saw that this is the CN. So Corporate Finance Analytics, this is the application. And we can save this app ID inside of a variable. All right, so it's saved. Now we can simply disconnect from this account, and we can try to connect using empty graph with the certificate that we have into this account, which is the application ID. Disconnected. Now connect empty graph, tenant ID. So tenant ID is basically this. If we can print this out, this is the same as the tenant ID. And we're going to also give the client ID, which is the application ID that we saved. And certificate is saved inside of the cert variable. And we saved it up here somewhere. Yeah, this is the certificate that we saved, thumbprint and the subject. So hopefully this connects now. All right, so we're connected. This is the context, complete context. Now we have access to this application. To figure out what actual roles we have, we first need to find out the service principal of this application, because we already know that every application or enterprise application has a service principal. To figure out that application's service principal, we can simply, all right, so we figure out the application's service principal. This just means that we are finding out the application service principal for Microsoft Graph, and we can also save this inside of a variable. All right, so let's just find out the roles that we have. We're simply saving this into a role management variable. This is the actual role that we want to find out. For this service principal, we're finding app roles. So if I do RoleManagement.ID, we can figure out the roles management ID. And if I print out the role, it will give us all the information about it. Sorry, convert to JSON. So this is the actual role management read write directory. So we can read all the roles and manage all the roles in the directory as well using this role. All right. So what this means is, it actually means that we as an application can also assign global admins to everybody, and we can also assign global admin to ourselves as well. So we will try to assign global admins to ourselves, and then we can, being a global admin, reset the password or add a temporary access passcode for that EntraGoat admin that we want to exploit, and we can figure out what the flag is. So we will grant ourselves the global admin. So let's just save the service principal first in a variable. We are going to grant ourselves. All right, so we already have the permission. Maybe because of testing, I tested it before, so we already have the permission. We have already granted ourselves a global admin. So the only thing left now to do is disconnect. We can connect using the application ID again, because why we are disconnecting is because we didn't have the global admin before. In our case, we had, but in your case, it won't be. You will have to assign the global admin, and then you will have to log out so you can refresh the token. Now we have the refresh token, and we can simply assign ourselves the global admin. All right, so after that, we're just going to print it out. We already have this actual roles, that's why it's giving us an error. So after that, we're just going to use this, but we already have the role, so we don't really need to do it. And you can paste this and save it somewhere, so you can use in your own walkthrough. What's left to do is to update the user. We're going to update this user, and the password profile would be this. This is the password we're going to set for it, and false change password next time is false, so it won't allow us to change the password. It will be automatically as this for whatever time period it is. It won't change the password. All right, so it's done. Now we can try to log into the user, disconnect, and simply log in. All right, so we are in the user Entra admin. You can see what the last thing left to do is to get the flag, and we can of course get the flag using the properties. User ID is and the property we are looking for is display name. 1 second. Extension attributes. All right, so into the extension attributes don't have the flag. So there are one other type of extension attributes on premises. Let's just save this inside of a flag first, flag variable, and then query this flag for on premises extension attributes, and save. All right, so let's just find out the extension attribute one. Okay, let's just try to do it from the GUI. We can also log in here. Stay signed in. Simply, we can go to our users and search for our user, EntraGoat admin, and we can figure out what the actual property is here on premises. So this is the flag. We can copy this. Perfect. So now we will be finishing this lab. This is also a beginner lab. For now, thank you for watching. Assalamu alaikum.